Brooklyn Beckham just finally released a lengthy statement about what's going on with his parents. And oh my God, it is getting messy. He said, "I have been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private. Unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about only some of the lies that have been printed. I do not want to reconcile with my family. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life." Okay. For my entire life, my parents have controlled narratives in the press about our family. The performative social media posts, family events, and inauthentic relationships have been a fixture of the life I was born into. Recently, I have seen with my own eyes the lengths that they'll go to place countless lies in the media, mostly at the expense of innocent people, to preserve their own facade. But I believe the truth always comes out. My parents have been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped. My mom canceled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her to urgently find a new dress. Weeks before our big day, my parents repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe me into signing away the rights to my name, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children. They were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday, and they have never treated me the same since. During the wedding planning, my mom went as far as to call me evil because Nicola and I chose to include my nanny, Sandra, and Nicola's nanny at the table because they both didn't have their husbands. Both of our parents had their own tables equally adjacent to ours. The night before our wedding, members of our family told me that Nicola was not blood and not family. Since the moment I started standing up for myself with my family, I've received endless attacks from my parents, both privately and publicly, that were sent to the press on their orders. Even my brothers were sent to attack me on social media before they ultimately blocked me out of nowhere last summer. This is kind of creepy. My mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance, to a romantic love song. In front of our 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead, my mom was waiting to dance with me instead. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life. We wanted to renew our vows so we could create new memories of our wedding day that bring us joy and happiness, not anxiety and embarrassment. My wife has been consistently disrespected by my family, no matter how hard we've tried to come together as one. My mom has repeatedly invited women from my past into our lives in ways that were clearly intended to make both of us uncomfortable. Despite all of this, we still traveled to London for my dad's birthday, and we were rejected for a week as we waited in our hotel room trying to plan quality time with him. He refused all of our attempts unless it was at his birthday party with 100 guests and cameras at every corner. When he finally agreed to see me, it was under the condition that Nicola was not invited. It was a slap in the face. Later, when my family traveled to LA, they refused to see me at all. My family values public promotion and endorsement above all else. Brand Beckham comes first. Family love is described by how much you post on social media or how quickly you drop everything to show up and pose for a family photo op, even if it's at the expense of our professional obligations. We've gone out of our way for years to show up and support at every fashion show, every party, and every press activity to show our perfect family. But the one time my wife asked for my mom's support to save displaced dogs during the LA fires, my mom refused. The narrative that my wife controls me is completely backwards. I've been controlled by my parents for most of my life. Honestly, I don't really doubt that. I grew up with overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life, since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. I wake up every morning grateful for the life I chose and have found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by image, press, and manipulation. All we want is peace, privacy, and happiness for us and our future family. First of all, I need your opinions, okay? Because I think every married couple has the right to their boundaries with their families. That is his new unit. That is his wife. And just like I hear a million stories on TikTok, I personally think when women and men come on this platform and talk about their in-laws or their family and their toxic relationship and how all of it came to the surface after they got married, I don't ever think that's an issue. I think a new perspective on life is had, and you start seeing things differently. And that's all that's happening, I think, with Brooklyn.